Welcome to Never Dirty, Mostly Clean.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to Never Dirty.
Mostly Clean.
My name is Jason.
And I'm Nathan.
We welcome y'all back again. It's been a short time this time, which is good.
Yes.
But still a lot of stuff going on in the country.
Not much of it is good.
Not much of it is good. Not much of it is good. I mean, if you're on any type of search social media or news outlet, you can see what's kind of going on in our country. But kind of to start off, and we over text, Nathan, we kind of talked about this. The peaceful protest here in Sacramento on Saturday happened. It was about 20,000 people, and me and the wife, after a long discussion,
You won.
well, I mean, you know what? I honestly. So we took the kids to the protest, and I had thought about it, but when everything started, when everything popped off, it was just violence. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of anger and rage and violence. And there was no way. There was no way I was going to take my kids to be involved in anything like that. But it seemed like the country kind of was going through its stages of grief. And it was outrage, then anger. And that's what we were seeing that was developing with the protests that turned into riots and looting. And again, protesting, yes, rioting. I don't condone it or do it. I understand it. Looting. There's three type of people in these protests. There's protesters who actually care about the cause, who are going to protest. There's rioters who are fed up and angry, and that's how they're taking out their anger. Okay. There are looters who are just there to loot. They're just there to steal stuff.
They're taking advantage of the situation.
Exactly. So, in that climate, no, there was no way. But it seemed like America is now starting to, well, at least, I don't know. To me, it just seemed like it was starting to go into the stage of resolve. We're starting to have resolve and understand that violence is not going to change anything. It's the actual protesting, actual coming out in mass in numbers, and showing in force and
united movement.
Yes, exactly. And so the protest that was here in Sac was completely. It was advertised as this is completely peaceful. If you're not about the peace, don't even bother showing up. It was organized by a black filmmaker that actually lives here in Granite Bay, and also I believe a coach. I'd have to look it up. I can look it up right now, but I believe a coach with the Kings that helped organize it. And it started at Golden One Center and went over to the Capitol. And we took the kids, man, and we came up with a plan. It's like, look, we're going to try to be as close to the outskirts of everything as possible. So if something does pop off, we're out. You know what I mean? And having the kids our age, are 8 and 6. They're gonna have to go to the bathroom. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, we're not gonna sit there and be there all day in the sun. You know what I mean? Like
right.
we'll go, we'll march. We'll support. But I think we just wanted to get the kids to experience this moment in our history. We had the civil rights movement, and that was huge. But this to me is bigger. It feels bigger, and to have my young black children, be able to see and experience love, because it was all love, man. It was all love. Everybody was out there, dude. It was such a cool vibe, man. Even to the point, like, we were walking, and I was drinking. I had the camel backpack, little things you get water, straw, you drink out of, and. My daughter was standing next to me when we were like walking, and she was looking at something, and she kind of fell back, maybe like 3-4 feet behind me. But the lady behind me, a Caucasian woman behind me, kind of like could see her kind of falling back and just kind of put her arm out, put it on her back. And like once I looked down and didn't see her, I'm like, Layla, and I turn around, and this lady's like, oh, she's right here. It was just love, man. Like it was just all love all across the board, and I wanted my kids to experience that. I wanted them to see that in this moment in time and in our history, and be a part of that, man. So that was really, really cool. But in terms of winning the argument, because I had thought about it, But my wife, because I didn't even bring it up to my wife. I thought about it. I was like, nah, I don't do that. But then my wife was like, hey, like, what do you think about us taking the kids to the protest? I was like, really?
Right now? You just throw your bowl from the kitchen table into the sink. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So it was a really cool experience. And like I said, my wife, I call my kids black, which they are black. My wife is Persian American, so she was born in Iran, but her mom is German Irish, so she's a Caucasian woman. So for me, I fear for my kids, because not only are they black, but they're Middle Eastern, So in America, those two things don't seem to get you many places.
Yeah, why?
I think that's the big question, man. Like, why? Like, I saw this post on Facebook. It was like, what is it that Black America did to everyone to make them hate us so much?
Yeah, we were unforgivable.
Yeah, for real. Like, what did we do? Like, we were brought here against our own will. We worked and did not benefit from anything that we worked for.
Yeah.
And then, people still hate us for what?
And then SpongeBob SquarePants Intermission comes out and goes, 50 years later. And it's still happening.
Still, for what? Why? What did we do? We have done nothing. I mean, I honestly say, and we had this conversation a second ago about, this whole situation and, talking to friends about it and having uncomfortable conversations and whatnot, and I've had teammates of mine that, that I see them post these views. And now as a football player, and I'm sure most athletes know, sports is usually the equalizer. Sports, it evens the playing field. It doesn't matter what color you are. What matters is what you do on the field and the type of teammate you are, period. Yeah. So when I see some of my old teammates that I used to play with, and they're, they have these, to them, they feel that they're valid views, which is fine. And I'm open to listen. But to me, they just sound ignorant. And it's like they never knew me. You know what I mean? It's like either they never knew me or they don't see me as a Black American. You know what I mean? They just see me as Jason, the football player. So, or their teammate. So it's frustrating and hurtful when you see these things that they're posting and you hear these things that they're saying, and it's like, dude, really?
I didn't know you for what you were at all.
Right. It's like, I thought, like, man, I guess I didn't know you at all, and that's I think the hard part. So, trying to get them to say, hey, forget it's, some black dude you see on TV, forget it's some, black dude that you see having stuff. What if that happened to me?
Yeah.
You didn't know George Floyd. You didn't know Breonna Taylor. You didn't know Ahmaud Arbery. You didn't know any of those guys. Imagine if it was me. Would you still be posting the things and saying the things that you were saying, a minute ago? And that's what I've told some people. It's like, it's just the things that you're saying, they don't fall in line with the person that I know.
Here it is. And this is the sad, awful truth. But until people experience it, they don't fucking know.
Yes.
And it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have no reasonable or valid opinion here. I'm just stating how I feel about it. And that means shit when it comes down to it. But I wish that everyone could just take a step back and think about stuff, especially with social media being so wild. When we were kids, this didn't exist.
No, not at all. Not at all.
If you had something to say, you had to get a news reporter in your face.
Right.
And now it's all over.
Everybody has their soapbox. Yeah. And I don't know, man. We were again talking, and about just privilege, because I brought up, white privilege, but you had made the point of, it doesn't have to just be white privilege. It could be privilege. There's, economic privilege. which, a lot of times does have to do with race. Most of the time has to do with race. But, I mean, there's black folks that got money and black folks that don't have money. And I know black folks that have money, and some of the things they say about black folks that don't have money, they're interesting. They're interesting.
They're calling her New Karen.
No.
Out in Arizona.
Man. This video infuriates me. And it infuriates me because I see this part of society every day. And this is why I avoid going to grocery stores or anything for that matter. If I had my choice, I would not do nearly what I need to do my part in my marriage. Because my wife knows that I just can't handle it. I get irate at people that act like New Karen here, that goes into a gas station because her pump isn't working. This is a older white woman. She walks in, and there is a younger African American. I think she might have been Hispanic. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
It's shot from a camera phone, and if you're going to record, here's another thing that just infuriates the shit out of me. If you're going to record from your phone, hold it correctly.
Mm.
Because when you're sending out those vertical videos to everybody, like, that shit doesn't look good. Come on. I can't see. If I'm not wearing my glasses, I can't see.
Yeah.
And this lady walks in and demands help right then. And I'm guessing the young lady in front of the counter was like,
helped.
Hold on, you have to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I'm chopping this story up.
Yeah, it's all good.
But it escalates, and supposedly this New Karen tells her to go back to her country. And ask her, where are you born? Yeah. She's like, I'm born in America. Yeah. And to have the audacity to order the counter clerk, like, you own this place, first of all. And if you did own this place, this is an awful way to run your business.
Right. And then tells her, you need to leave. And then the guy behind the camera is defending the girl.
Yeah.
And then she comes over to him and is like, you need to leave. You call me B word, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
like,
he's like, I never said those words.
I never said that.
He's sitting back and like, I don't want to say he was sticking up for the young woman that was at the counter.
Right.
He was kind of egging it on. A little bit. A little bit. He was there to go, yeah, that's right. In your face. She's weak. And so it progressed. And all of a sudden, the older white woman made a cardinal mistake.
Oh, she made a bad move.
And anyone that can see physical distraught in someone, New Karen does not have that skill.
No, she didn't want any of that. But apparently she forgot that she didn't want any of that.
The young lady woke her ass up.
So she tried to reach out and, I don't know, grab the girl or something.
Turn her around or what.
Oh,
but
man.
As soon as there was contact,
whap hap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like she wrapped her with a newspaper on her nose like a dog, son. She slapped her straight
that was
mouth.
An ear ringer.
Oh, she gave her the business, and and the guy behind the camera said, "Yep, you deserved it. You deserved it."
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm not about putting hands on people,
Justified.
but you put your hands on me.
Yeah, if you touch me first,
there's gonna be a problem. And she got exactly what she gave out. She put her hands on her. Like, why would she feel that she could put her hands on her? Because she was a white woman that felt that that was her right.
Here is the part that annoyed me the most of it, okay? She gets smacked, and she immediately, she adjusts her glasses back on her face. Because she has sunglasses on inside, by the way. God damn, the more I think about this woman, the more I just hate her. I hate her. And then she just, no, and just like storms out. I'm guessing to get her BlackBerry out of her car. Who knows? But are they still cool? Do they still make those?
I feel like
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't even think they exist anymore.
Here I go categorizing, though. You know, just why? Why is that necessary? You walk in, I get it. You're frustrated. You're late for a luncheon or brunch or some shit, some cribbage tournament down the street. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to anyone else except for you, Karen.
Yes.
And you need to wait your damn turn like the rest
turn.
of everybody else.
Dude, I promise you. I told you this. We went me and the kids and my wife. We were going. Where were we going? Oh, we were going to the lake. Have a lake day. And we stopped at the donut shop, get some donuts, on the way, and as a surprise from the wife. But so I go in, social distancing. I want to have a bunch of people inside with my mask, and which is always interesting for me. Like the mask that I have is like it's like not a ski mask that comes all the way over your head, but it kind of stops. Well, it comes like to your forehead, so you have like the circle. But what I do is I just fold up the top part and put it behind my back. Okay. So with my size and walking around with this mask up to my eyes and my sunglasses, like no one can see my face or my eyes, I always feel, and this is part of being a black man in America. Like I feel like people think I'm going to attack them or something. But anyway, so I'm kind of standing back, minding my own business, waiting in line, 6 feet apart. I'm like the third person in line. I
would give you big wide eyes no matter what color you were for dressing like that in public. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah, my wife made me a nice, other mask, and I don't know, it doesn't fit. It always comes off my nose. Like this one stays on. But anyway, so this lady, okay, so you see there's one lady working behind the donut counter, serving everyone donuts. There's like, a couple people that came in behind me. So if you were coming in to look, you were like, oh man, this lady's taking forever. Like, what is taking her so long? But she's there by herself. Like she's working by herself. So, and apparently there's someone in the back that's actually making the donuts. And, so she's working with this customer and, with this guy, being really nice, having this conversation. And she just blurts out while they're talking. Can you get someone else to help you? Thank you. It took everything in me to be quiet and just be like, you know what? Now's not the time. Now's not the time for me to say
up in the news,
man, for real. So I let it go, and then the person so she helps that lady, right? So the person that was working cooking donuts comes out, and I'm still ear hustling on their conversation. So while the lady's ordering, and so every time you go to this place, they ask you when you go up, are you going to what how many are you getting? Which they're asking, are you getting a couple donuts or are you getting like a dozen? And so the lady, she asked, so she's like, I'd like to get 3 apple fritters. And the lady goes, oh, how many are you getting? She's like, well, I said 3 apple fritters. No, I mean, are you? She goes, oh, are you getting like a dozen? She's like, no. And she's like, I like 3 apple fritters. Dude, I so much wanted to just give this woman the people's elbow, son. Like, it took everything in me to be quiet. Because, I got my kids and stuff in the car. And I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to be this big black dude, bald-headed black dude with sunglasses and a ski mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like, telling this lady about herself. And, she has the ultimate Karen haircut, too, dog. Like, I knew standing behind her, I'm like, oh, this lady's going to be a problem, son. This lady's going to be a problem. But it's just, like, stuff like that, man. Like, I see, look at the anger in your face. Nathan has backed away from the microphone.
Don't be don't be a Karen. Don't be a Karen. If your name is Karen, you should just think about changing. Are you attached to it? We used to work with a Karen.
We did.
And Jason and I worked together at one point.
Yes, we did. We worked retail. Yeah, so we are very, very versed in the Karenage.
Yeah. Have you ever been cussed at and kept a smile on your face? Then you've worked in retail. So I remember one time, this Karen, we're sitting across and I'm eating my sandwich. And anytime I'm eating a sandwich, I am now placed in an alternate universe.
I'm no longer with you.
And it's like, there may be even a sandwich song that's just hummed in my head at that moment. Just, I love sandwiches, blah-da-da-da-da-da-da. I would appreciate some granule mustard, but that's okay. Do-do-do-do-do. And I get interrupted. Nathan, yes?
The outrage.
I can't even do it. Were you ever a supremacist?
She asked you that?
Excuse me? You know, like a white supremacist? Why would you ask me that, Carol? Well, because just your general demeanor and your shaved head. I'm like, are you telling me because I'm bald and white, I hate?
Are you serious? She asked you that, Tim?
Yeah, that was 6 years ago. I'm shaking right now thinking about it.
Dude, what?
And she, even after I got irate, because I did, it was a couple of seconds of shock, and then, like, I'm trying to figure it out, like, what did I do to lead you to this question? And then to realize that, no, she's just a dumb bitch. I got so angry, I had to leave. And I went right into human resources, and I told them what happened. I was like, I don't know where else to go right now. I like to take care of my own situations. I can't take care of this
sandwich
one.
to
I
eat.
can't take care of this one. Now my bread is soggy. You need to take care of this right now. And she was so upset that I told on her. When she said it to me in an open break room full of people.
Full of people. Are you serious? I cannot believe she said that. I mean, do I believe it? Yeah. I mean, in my interactions, yeah. But that's.
And she said it like even after she could tell that I lost it, and I had to remove myself so I didn't say anything to this woman and get in trouble.
Right.
And it was like her face was like, what did I say? All as I said was I asked him if he was a Nazi. I don't get it.
Dude, so we had a conversation and about trying to be better about not describing people off of things that
like we're doing with Karen right now.
I mean, listen. If you've ever experienced the Karens, anyway, so trying not to describe people of like that short person over there, or that
chubby person.
Right. Trying not to use those words to describe people, because everybody I think is guilty of that, and I think where it comes from is like we were talking about. Kids
from your first memories, you are taught by shapes and color tones and things like this.
Right.
Things for inanimate objects. And then as you grow and you learn how to communicate,
right. You understand.
You start involving that in your day to day. And I don't think much of it means offense.
Right. No.
And I definitely think that the people that are offensive with it don't even realize that they're not doing it. Man, they're not doing it because they know that they need to stand here. I think that a lot of them are just too ignorant. Right.
It's ignorance. There's a lot of that going on,
and they just need to learn.
Yeah, and a lot, but see where. What also makes me angry is a lot of it is just willful ignorance. It's not wanting to learn or figure out a better way. Not
like,
wanting
no,
to. Yeah.
This is the way I do it.
This is the way I do it. I'm not doing that. I'm like, why would I do that? And so I was guilty of it, and until I had kids, and my wife put me on notice. Like, one time I had said, oh, I think it was like like that white guy over there. Like to my son. My daughter was like, my wife. She was like, no. She's like, we don't describe people off of things they can't control. You're not going to just label someone something off of things they can't control. You know what I mean? Like if someone's tall, they're tall. Find a different way to describe them. I'm sure they have other traits, that you can describe them, maybe what they have on. It's taking that next mental step to think about, hey, I shouldn't just be describing this person based off of what, You know what I mean? Like what? I'm like
They had back fat or a unibrow or.
So
I love in Pulp Fiction where he's like, hey, you want to hang out? I got these 2 girls over here. He just sells them all that heroin. He's like, you want to hang out? Trudy, she's single. Which one's Trudy? Is that the one with shit all over her face? No, that's my wife.
That's my wife. Case in point. See, listen, Vincent could have been saved from that exact situation if he had thought and took that next mental step.
Yeah.
But
why don't you explain both of those nice women to me that would be willing to fellate me?
But that, and so a story I have that that I was telling you that when I worked retail in Colorado, I had 2 different instances. First instance was I was working in one department and helping in other department. So I was running back and forth. And so I helped this customer, and really cool guy, really nice guy. And, he took his product and went and rang out at one of the pro cashiers. So it's a Lowe's, so it was one of the pro cashiers. And so like half hour after I deal with this guy, the cashier comes up to me. She's like, hey, did you help a guy in paint? And I was like, oh yeah, I helped the guy. I was trying to bounce back and forth. And she goes, yeah, so I figured it was you because I asked him, did he get help and everything? He was like, yeah, I had trouble in paint. I had to wait a while, but the colored kid that worked in garden, he helped me out. Yeah, really cool guy. And I'm like, she told me that. I said, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I couldn't believe it either. And I was like, you could have said anything else. Like, I'm 6'2". You could have said that tall kid that works in garden. I had a blue shirt on. You could have said, yeah, the bald guy. You could have said the guy that had a blue shirt. So many things that you could have said. And not only did you not say black guy or African American, you said colored.
And then followed it up with kid or fella. It doesn't make a difference.
And said I was a nice guy.
And they just stay cheery about it. Like that's the way that it's said.
And I think that's the willful ignorance.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to say this. I don't care how it makes other people feel.
My dad said it like that.
Dude, it's crazy, man. And then the other one that happened at that same store, I was in plumbing. I was walking through. I wasn't even helping. I was walking through plumbing, and this guy was looking for duct tape, and we didn't have any. I knew that we didn't have any because we had to do IRP, so I knew there was none in plumbing, but it was some in paint, and no one had replaced it, and so I'm like, oh, we keep it in paint. I was like, I'll show you. So we're walking over, and we're having this conversation, and he's like, yeah, I need the duct tape because my glove box broke. And he's like, I took it to the dealer, and they were like, it's gonna be like $400. I was like, I'm not doing that.
So
he's like, so
tape it on.
Yeah, he's like, so I figured I would just get some tape and
I've heard enough about this guy already.
Yeah, right. But he's like,
fixes everything. There.
He goes, I figured I would just get some tape and well, no offense, but I'll nigger rig it. I said, I literally we're walking side by side, right? And mind you, this was a cool dude. He was a cool guy, And there's a couple reasons I was irritated. No, he stopped.
Yeah, he caught himself.
Thought about it. Caught himself.
He said it, and then, for lack of a better word, I'm just gonna shit on you real quick.
And the word is jerry rig. The word is actually jerry rig,
which could be offensive to Jerry's. We need to find a new one,
dude.
But
I literally we're walking right next to each other, like some pals walking to the store, and he said that, dude, and I just stopped because we were probably about 4 or 5 bays from the duct tape, right?
Yeah.
And so I just stopped and literally looked at him I just stopped, blank face, and just looked at him like this, with that face, dude, are you serious? And I just stood there, looked at him, and he was like, no offense. And I was like, the duct tape's down there. And I just turned around and walked away, Dad. I was like, I'm.
How funny it would be if you just took his keys out of his hand and chucked them down the aisle. They're right about there.
4 aisles over. Have a good day, sir. But that's like that.
If I broke a key, tape it back together.
Go to aisle 15, they'll make you another one. But dude, it's that willful ignorance, dog.
No
that
offense,
I can't.
but here it comes.
Here it comes. I'm gonna be racially insensitive right about now. I could not believe he said that, dog. And then and said no offense. Come on, bro.
And then once he could see that you were offended, instead of apologizing, he repeated the phrase, no offense.
No offense. No offense.
Oh, no. Remember back a second ago when I said no offense? So that means you can't be offended to it.
Might as well said with all due respect, sir. I would have accepted that better. You can pretty much say anything after with all due respect. Dude. So I don't know, man. We're in a interesting time in our country. I mean, I just hope everyone's staying safe, man. But if you have this willful ignorance that you live by, and you think that you can just do and say anything you want, and there's gonna be no repercussions, because I've been looking on Facebook, and people have been losing college scholarships, college admissions. They've been losing their jobs, businesses,
homes.
So if you want to continue to be ignorant and do and say these ignorant things, just be wary and understand
the
that
world
social media
is changing
has changed
without you.
Oh man.
You're falling behind.
You're falling behind, and you're going to end up losing your livelihood because of these ignorant views. So I just hope that before you say these things that you're saying, that you understand that people aren't putting up with it anymore.
Realize, idiot, that you're the minority.
Man, man. I just hope everyone searches inside themselves, man, and treats everyone how the Bible says. Treat everyone how you want to be treated. Treat others how you want to be treated. And that if everyone did that, the world would be a perfect place.
Matthew Perry.
Chandler?
Yes.
Yeah.
He posted something the other day.
Excuse me, Chandler Bong.
Yeah. for the post system, of course. He posted something the other day. And I read that shit 8 times.
Okay.
And it's just simple.
Uh-huh.
But it's fire, dude. I love it.
Really?
I love it. And I can't give him credit for coming up with it. I just saw it on his Instagram.
Okay.
And it says, "It is a privilege to learn about racism rather than experience racism."
Ooh.
And I read that over and over and over again.
Wow. And
it started digging deeper and deeper, and I was just like, all right, I'm turning the phone off now.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
That's true. And a huge thing for me, and I may have spoken this last week, and that comment I think sums it up. It's those that need to learn about it because they're not going to experience it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's you need to educate yourself.
You'll never understand it on this level.
Right.
So what you need to do now is be open-minded enough to just accept the way that this is the way that it has to be.
Right. And, it's sad. Like you said it perfectly. These people are the minority. These people that have these views and that are ignorant like this, it's a minority. It's a large part, and that's the thing about hate. Hate is so loud, it's so loud, but the one thing that can extinguish that is love. You know what I mean? So it's, even though it's a small amount, which a lot of people are saying, silence is basically being an accomplice. You know what I mean? Because you have to spit that love. If you're not experiencing it, you have to be empathetic and compassionate and be able to speak for those that don't have the voice. You know what I mean? And if you're silent and you just let it go, you can't.
You might as well break the window of the next Walgreens. Right. Be that guy.
Right. So, it's better to learn it than have to experience it. That's a really, really, really good quote. I didn't know Chilandler was woke like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I read it and I was like, wait a minute. And I read it again and I was like, wow. And then I read it again and I read it again and I read it again and I read it again. I'm like, this has so much volume to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just, if I could give a small piece of advice, a place for people to start, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but in your group of friends, make sure that you're around the right kind of people.
Right.
And if you are not, walk up to Karen and ask her what she would do about this situation. And then whatever advice she gives you, do the exact opposite, and you're headed in the right direction.
That's the first step. That's the first step. I mean, really, it's man. I had this. I made this statement. Actually, I saw this video that a retired teacher, Caucasian woman. I cannot remember her name. It's going to irritate me to no end because I cannot remember her name. Jane. Oh, Jane. I can't remember her last name. I'm gonna look it up. So she had posted Jane Elliott. She gives these talks and she speaks on racial issues a lot. I mean, she's probably the wokest white woman that I've ever seen in my life. Like the things that she says are so poignant and they make so much sense. And so she was given this speech where she basically said if in a crowd, it was a room full of white people, mostly white people. I think there's a few minorities peppered in there, but she basically asked, knowing how, like, living in America and knowing how Black Americans are treated in this country, stand up if you would like to be treated like a Black person. Because if you say there's no racism, and that's your stance, stand up if you would like to be treated like a person of color in this country is treated. No one stood up. She says,
Whoa.
I'm sorry, maybe you didn't hear the question. I'll repeat it. She said, if you, knowing America, living in America, would like to trade places with a Black person or person of color, stand up. And not one person stood up.
Oh my!
And they're showing in the end of the crowd, and you can see some couple people's faces, and it's like that's like the bottom line. And I've asked that question, I've asked that question to people, and I don't really get any answers back because I feel like that makes them understand. It's like, well, no, I wouldn't want to be treated like that. Okay, so why should we be treated like that?
Whether at that point you're facing it on a world aspect instead of, does this affect me? Because that's how everybody goes through their day. Does this affect me?
Right. Yeah, and that's the scary part, man. And for my wife, my wife is super. She gets super emotional about these conversations, because her husband's a Black man, her son is going to be a Black man, her daughter's going to be a Black woman, so she is very vocal also. Like she has zero tolerance for ignorance, like zero tolerance for racism, like zero tolerance. She's telling me, no, delete them, and I like I said before, like I feel like, I have to say something,
And here it is though. We can have this show, and we can do this every week, Jason, but you
Oh,
can't go around changing people, unfortunately.
Oh man.
Unfortunately. We can do our best, but don't exhaust yourself on people that don't matter. And if they can't see...
But wait, all lives matter.
No. That's where we're wrong. Some can just jump in a big hole. If you can't get on board and you want to be by yourself, then that's what you should do.
Dude, I'm telling you, because I'm telling you, change is a coming, man. People aren't putting up with this nonsense, this hate, this discrimination. People are done with it, man. And this younger generation, dude, they're about to do, I feel like, with the young people that, you think about, okay, people that are going to be able to vote this year, that turned 18 this year or last year, they were 14 when Trump went into, into office. So I mean, let's be honest. The country has become a lot more diverse. There's a lot more interracial couples. Like we had a Zoom meeting with my family tonight. Just looking, with the interracial couples, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 interracial couples. In my family, and I have a pretty big family. You know what I mean? So, and one of my cousins made a comment like, times are changing. And this younger generation, they see it, and they see it on social media, and they're now seeing these crimes happen on video. Okay, so before, people didn't see it. People weren't. These atrocities weren't getting filmed. Rodney King was like the first time. Was like it. That was like the start when you started to see these things on tape, see them being filmed. I'm not to discredit what happened in the civil rights movement and filming of protests and sicking dogs and hoses on us. But the first time you actually see the incident of the brutality happening in real, like what I'm saying, I can see it. I can go to my phone and I'll be able to watch this cop kill this guy. So I think
when you see something so painful to watch that you're not registering it fast enough to where you're watching it in full shock and you can't look away, even though it's grotesque or whatever's happening, you shouldn't be looking, but you're still watching.
Yeah.
And
that changes you, man.
yeah,
it does something to you, and it changes
as it should.
you. Yeah, and so for these young kids seeing that, they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. Saw this video of this girl that she recorded and put it online of her ignorant dad, who's a cop in the inner city, making these stupid comments, and she's like, "Listen to yourself." Like you're saying that you're calling these people animals. And so this younger generation that kind of grew up with seeing what the current administration has, how it's emboldened, these racist white folks to come out and do and say the things that they say and do, they're not going to let this fly, and I hope with this being election year, and we can go into conspiracy theories about it being election year, all the things that are happening in 2020, but I feel like it's inevitable a change is coming. It's inevitable a change is coming. So people are going to have to start getting on board, son. Stop posting this stupid stuff. You're going to lose your livelihood. You're going to lose your livelihood. But so I know we talked last week about just a little transition here about doing our top 5 animated movie soundtracks. We're going to have to move that to next time. So get your list right. Get your list right.
Oh, it's on point, dude.
Yeah, it better be.
All right.
So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Love each other.
Love each other. Hug your family. Love your family.
And for those people that you're trying to reach out for, those strangers out on the street, if you reach out and they can't put their hand out, then fuck them. Realize that they're going to be one of those ones in the hole.
Yep.
And they will be left behind, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. That's
and
their choice.
I hope that this movement wakes up all those people.
Yeah.
But chances are
It won't.
they're just too stupid. They're just
what it
too
boils
damn
down to.
stupid.
That's what it boils down to. But all right, y'all. We love y'all. Another one bound, another one down, another one bites the dust. Never dirty, mostly clean. We appreciate y'all coming. Appreciate y'all listening. Like,
See you
Never
guys next
dirty,
time.
mostly
subscribe,
clean.
share. Peace.